Welcome to another episode of the Closers Klub. I'm Robert Nichols here with Collin Bray and Miles Wright. Collin, this is your second time on the show. Thank you for joining me again. And I have Miles right here for the first time. Miles, we'll start with you. Tell me a little bit about your background, your origin story, and how you got into real estate.
Absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. So a bit about me. I'm Boston, born and raised, from Boston originally. I went to school in college, Dartmouth College, up in New Hampshire. I played basketball there for 4 years. Funny enough, how I got into real estate is I had an assistant basketball coach who played high school basketball with Collin at New Hampshire. And so essentially I figured out that real estate was something I was interested in. He said, hey, I know the best broker in Boston. Gave him a call. And then I chatted with Collin on the phone. He said, hey, come down to Boston. I have an open house at this location. And it's springtime, right? Springtime for a college student, weekends, right? Pretty big party time, having a good time. But I knew that there was something special about this partnership and about this person. So I decided to come down. We shared the day. We went out, saw some property. I got to learn about what he does, learn a bit more about the business. That led to a summer internship. That was about 7 or 8 years ago now. Obviously now I work full time with Central 21 Cityside in Collin. And it's been nothing but great. So that's how I got here.
Excellent, man. Love that. Yeah, to piggyback on that, Collin, first and foremost, I know you're a broker, Century 21.
Yeah.
And then also, this is your first real estate project. Before we get into this project, I'm curious to know more about your process in bringing folks like Miles in. Was it because of the introduction? Is it something where you're always looking to hire? Speak a little bit about your process in hiring new agents and how the connection was made and what made you finally decide to give him an opportunity.
Well, I didn't give him anything. He earned it. And, that was actually a little bit of a test. So I've had some interns in the past. It's my way to, make connections with young people that are interested in real estate. And when I had a conversation with Miles, I made it difficult. I told him, oh, yeah, we can meet. Sorry, we can't have a phone call. We have to meet. We can meet on Saturday. Meet me at this address at 3 p.m. Okay, and that was it. So what Miles is not sharing is that, he passed on going to a party. He got on a bus. He got his butt down to Boston. He found his way over to my open house. And when he walked in the door and said, hi, I'm Miles Wright. I'm here. It's 3 p.m. The decision was already made. So there's a lot of value when you say something and then you do something, and tremendous value and opportunity when you show up. So it's a perfect symbol of Miles showing up and now showing out because he's crushing it in real estate. And I trust nobody more than him, which is why I've passed the keys, physically and metaphorically speaking, for my renovation so that he can run point, market it, and sell it.
Love it, Collin. Love it, man. No, that's a great story. And it shows, right? You're not just talking about it. You're actually taking steps to take an action on it. You gave him this listing, which is listed at $2.1 million?
So $2.4 million, 2399.
There we go.
To be exact.
Beautiful. Yeah. Speak a little bit about how you found this property, and what the game plan was, and what your motivation for buying it was.
Well, the secret sauce is I live in the building. So in a way, I know too much. So we're in a 4-unit condo building. I live upstairs, and this condo, which was in original condition, very rough.
I saw it.
Had been rented for many years. Yeah, Robert has seen the before. Everybody in the video is now seeing the after, but the before was a little rough. And I got to know the property manager, is how I found out about the listing. And I made an offer on the property, and they said, heck no, we're never selling. And then a month later, I followed up. And then 2 months later, I followed up. And then all of a sudden, heck no, I'm never selling became, we're thinking about selling, would you be interested? And so I think there's some lessons there. One is create a relationship. 2 is, check in, follow up, be a little bit persistent and relentless. And 3 is if you want to live a big life, you got to take risks. And so this was a big risk for me, not hiring Miles. That was easy, but doing the renovation was a big risk because anytime you're investing time, money, and managing other people, it's a little scary.
It is, man. Well, I tell you knocked it out of the park, and I really respect the work you did as a fellow investor and flipper and developer, man. You look like a seasoned pro.
Oh, well, Thank you. You're very kind. But the season pro now is Miles because he's got the keys. He's going to have to market it and sell it. He had a showing earlier today. So, how's it going?
Yeah, let's speak on that, Miles. You took me right into the next segue, man. So how's it going, Miles? How's it been marketing the unit? Any high points, features, and just speak a little bit about your process in bringing this to market and getting it sold here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Though, people talk about the unit sells itself, right? When you have a beautiful place like this. And it does, but there's also a lot of work that we do, right? So we have a great marketing team in office. We also do some custom marketing. So I'm not sure if you want to link it to the video, but we had a great video made by a videographer named Milton Marin, Little City Media. He came in and did an awesome video for us. That's been super helpful. Highlights the property, highlights the back bay, kind of shows the location. So that's been really, really great. We have custom websites. Obviously, we do open houses and all the natural things that agents do. But, I think availability, right? You mentioned showing up. The best thing about this is that it's available, right? So it's vacant, easy to show. Anytime someone calls, we are here. Anytime, morning, night, we're here to make it happen. So we're doing everything we can to get this place sold for you. Collin mentioned we had a showing earlier. Showings are going well, right? There's a lot of interest in the unit. We just had a nice price adjustment, excuse me.
It's not getting fixed.
It's all about language, right?
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, that's right.
So nice price adjustment. I think we'll be in a good position. A couple open houses this weekend, and I'm feeling really good about it.
Excellent, man. So this is a $2.4 million listing, nearly 2.4, 2,399 to be exact.
Yeah.
What would you say, Miles, as a young agent coming up, what does it take to have the confidence and have the ability to take on a listing like this? Because everybody talks about wanting to be a million dollar agent, right? There's a lot of young agents coming up. How do you do it? What advice would you give to the young agents out there who are watching this in relation to like how they can prepare themselves to take on that responsibility?
It's a great question. I think the number one thing that comes to mind for me is just knowledge. Right? I think as agents, we spend a lot of our time educating others. So I think education is a big piece here, being knowledgeable about the unit, knowledgeable about the area. Obviously, you'll run into a lot of high wealth clients, high wealth people. And so the more that you know, the more that you can kind of add value to them. That's the thing that sticks out to me the most. And then obviously working with Collin for so long, I've learned how to be in this space already. So right now it feels like, I've been essentially practicing hard enough. Now the game is a little bit easier. So, being with the point guard like Collin and having a great mentor makes all of this a lot more easy.
Yeah, and Miles has learned by discovery. So he asks a lot of questions. He does a lot of research. He's curious about the finishes. So when those hard questions come your way, you're prepared. So what he's speaking about is confidence, right? Confidence is key for young agents. And the only way we gain that is by doing, trying, sometimes falling on our face, but studying and practicing and learning a market so that you feel confident when a $1 million buyer shows up or a $10 million client shows up, that you can answer their questions. You can be confident in your own self. So,
yeah, no, I really appreciate the themes you guys are sharing here. What I'm hearing is learning is a part of learning is doing, and then the second piece is mentorship, right? Those are the two key things that come to mind. So speak a little bit, Collin, about your role as a mentor for Miles and others in your process. Is it active training? Is it something where you guys meet on a regular basis, or is it something, Miles, where you come to him when you need help? Just talk a little bit about kind of the dynamic.
Well, sometimes the mentor becomes the mentee, as they say. As much as, Miles might be discovering and learning from me, I'm also learning and discovering from him. So it's a partnership, it's a two-way street. And yeah, we're in communication very often. And, we have sales meetings through our office. We're talking about strategy for the condo. We also both are into fitness, so play hoops. So sometimes it's not like on a Zoom call or in the office. It's like on the hardwood,
right?
Afternoon battles for 5 games. That we share war stories, and that's where our partnership really grows. So there's a few examples of how that looks and works.
Yeah, no, Miles, when we were talking earlier, I asked you, about working with Collin, how's it been, and working with this project. And you had said that, Collin manages and works and lives like he plays basketball. He's a point guard. He's a big distributor. He's always looking for the next guy. And I thought that was really powerful, man. And you kind of said that, you know, that chemistry that you guys have built translates onto the basketball court and in the business world as well. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, I believe it was Barack Obama who said that you can always learn about what someone is like by the way that they compete in an athletic arena.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we go and play basketball, and Collin is hard nosed. He's hitting the ground. We're at 6 a.m. We're playing pickup for work. He's diving on loose balls. Right.
Yep.
You know, he's just ultimately selfless, ultimate team guy. So yeah, one thing he also didn't mention is that our office is right next to each other.
Okay.
So in terms of communication, obviously we're there at the court, but in the office, you know, we're always in constant contact, like Collin mentioned. So
that was not by accident, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my design, you know, so if I ever need to get his attention, I go right on the wall.
There you go. I went over it.
Come right over.
Yep.
You know, I think Miles talked about something which I think is important around marketing, which is, you know, his creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, part of what makes Miles is he's very humble, right? We respect that about him. But like, you know, he deserves all the recognition for creating an amazing marketing video. And part of creating unique content is having actors or having lifestyle experiences. So Miles actually brought in a young actor. She was working from the home office. Then she was making an espresso coffee. Then she was getting in her workout gear. And it showed her living in the condo as if she was also, you know, living in the space, but the neighborhood. So I think creating a story around what it's like to live in a place, in a space, is really powerful. And Miles did a really good job with that around doing high-end luxury marketing.
That's great, man. Yeah, I think it's a testament to, you know, everything you've learned over the years, Miles, and now being able to implement it and really kind of perfect your process. Would you say?
Absolutely. You know, we want to highlight, like you mentioned, the Back Bay lifestyle, right? So we highlight the remote work lifestyle that we're all living post-COVID, or most people are living post-COVID. So really highlight the home office, and we all know what that's like, right? Finishing up work after a long day and got to get a workout in. And so we want to show her process while also showing off the unit. And the video got excellent feedback. It may be one of my most viewed reels on us, and is always great. It's all about interactions, right? So we did a good job with that, and again, creative custom marketing goes a really, really long way.
Awesome, love it. Speak a little bit, Collin, about your journey into real estate investment. Is this your first flip or investment property you purchased?
So my first renovation investment property flip. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Speak a little bit about that journey. You're a luxury agent. You've been doing this for 20 plus years.
Well, at an agent, LinkedIn would tell you 20 years and 10 days. And
there you go.
14 hours and 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so you decided to make the leap in, and, you know, there are many agents out there. I know we had a call on a mastermind yesterday, and there's a guy transitioned into becoming an agent from the other side, but you made the reverse, you know, which a lot of agents do want to get into. And so what would you say was the motivation, one, to make that leap? I know you're in the building, that's how you found the deal, but the motivation to jump in, and two, what advice would you give to agents who are considering doing it that you think would make the journey a little bit easier?
Well, I'm sure a seasoned developer would tell you to, run your numbers and to have a big team, behind you. And there's no one better than Rob Nichols, who knows, how to develop real estate. And transformation is no joke. It's true. You get your flowers. You deserve it.
Hey, man, appreciate it.
But the question obviously is for me, like, what's the why? So,
Right.
For me, it was initially a parking play. In the Back Bay, tandem parking is very different than individual singleized parking spaces. So sharing your keys with your neighbor versus having your own space, big difference. And I'm in a place in my life where I don't want to share keys with my neighbor. So this condo had the other parking space. So by default now I own both spaces. But, to sell the unit, I also saw an opportunity to take something that was dated, old, had a tough layout, and make it beautiful and fix and solve all those problems and make an amazing home for someone that I'm going to be their neighbor. So guess what? You end up buying this, so that we're watching that right now. I put my heart and soul into this. And heart and soul also means my wallet. I spent some money on finishes that most developers just wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want things to break. I don't want someone unhappy. Like, you know, I want to have a happy neighbor and a happy new homeowner. And I put my money where my mouth is. So my advice is like, solve problems, right? If you see an opportunity where you can change a floor plan, where you can add a bedroom or a bathroom, where you can make a dark space bright, where you can modernize, you know, whatever. The point is, if you can fix a problem, there's opportunity.
And this sounds like this project gave you the opportunity to bring all of those skills to the forefront, because you did an amazing job here. And as the video will show, it really came out well. Did Miles jump in? Did you help out with any of the design choices or finishes, Miles? Did you more observe?
We had some discussions here and there.
Okay.
I gave my input. You know, Collin always has this, and he always says, trust your gut. But I always feel a little bit honored when he brings something to me and says, hey, what are your thoughts on this? So ultimately, he made all the decisions, but I did get to see his process, more of an observer. You know, sit back, learn. Hopefully one day I can do the same.
Absolutely. It's the best way to learn, guys, right? Having that mentor, being a part of the process, seeing it up close, touching it, feeling it, versus, you know, looking at it from afar and saying, oh, I can do that, and jumping in like so many young folks do. And I was guilty of that early in my career, but I learned that having a good mentor and a good team and a good environment really allows you to grow a lot faster. You know, the old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to go together. Yep. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's the irony of this video right now, as we're talking about mentorship and partnership, is the contractor is Chris Hemingway.
Yeah.
Hemingway Construction. And what you can't see in the video, behind the scenes, is Genesis Hemingway is here in this room right now, who is Chris's daughter, who started a real estate internship with us 3 days ago. So she's on day number 3, and she's now observing the space that, you know, Dad built.
Yep.
So kudos to Chris and welcome Genesis. You know, the next real estate entrepreneur is here. You just haven't seen her yet.
That's it, man. That's your intro to the world, Genesis. No, but I love that you share that, Collin, because I mean, I think it really speaks to how, as we look to grow our businesses, it creates opportunities for so many other people to be a part of it, right? Like, I think that's something that people think about from afar and later in life. But as people start businesses, you want to grow, you want to learn, you want to make money. But ultimately, the real reward is the impact that you can have on so many lives through what we do. So, again, kudos to you, man, for providing opportunities for folks to get out here and learn the game, man.
Someone gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
Now we are giving them to others.
Right.
And they'll give them to others. You know, it's the domino effect of life.
Yep.
You know, it fills our cup, and you got to pass the rock. You got to move the ball if you want to get good shots.
Yep. Well said. Cool. One last question relative to your exit here, Collin. Did you ever think about Airbnb this property as a short-term rental or renting it out to a traditional renter?
Yeah, I ran the numbers to rent it out to a traditional renter. You know, I've actually thought about, you know, Airbnb as well. In this location, I think they do very well. But, you know, there's an old saying is like, I don't want to be king of the castle. You know, I want happy neighbors. And so, like, the numbers might be good, but I also don't want to, like, piss off my condo mates.
That's right.
You know, if I'm happy in my house with my neighbors, like, other things will fall into line. So for me, it wasn't so much dollars and cents. And that's kind of a metaphor for how I run my business. You know, keeping harmony in places that are important translates to every other arena of life.
Well said, man. No, that's great. Miles, I know we talked earlier that you were a basketball player in college and you did some pro basketball overseas.
Correct.
Speak on your transition from being a pro basketball player into real estate. You know, what ultimately made you decide real estate was the right career path, and what was that transition like?
That's a great question. I think as an athlete, right, you do so much individual and self-improvement and self-policing, right? You need to be consistent. You need to show up, right? You need to put the work in. And so for me, I think real estate was an easy transition in that sense, right? There's no one really watching, right? You have a ton of free time and it's yours to spend. How are you going to spend it? Do you decide to get better or do you just coast, right? So, you know, as an athlete, I think about from season to season, you always want to improve, right? Yeah. You score 5 points a game and you want to score 10. Then you want to score 15 the next season and you want to score 20, right? So real estate is a similar situation where you always want to grow your business. And so for me, it just made sense. It felt like the right fit. I love talking to people. I love getting to know new people. And it's somewhere where I can kind of, spread my wings and fly. So it just felt right for me. I think a lot of athletes feel the same, Collin. I'm sure you compare, but it was a pretty easy transition, honestly, going from playing ball to full-time real estate.
Excellent. This question's for both of you guys, so I'll let you guys decide who wants to jump in first here. But motivation, right? In order to continue to grow, in order to do these amazing projects and really figure out how to carve a path out towards your goals, you've got to find that motivation somewhere. I was listening to someone recently, and he was saying, our pasts are the worst motivators if we're looking to transform. Now, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that. Like, what motivates you, and what are your thoughts about, leveraging the past versus letting the future pull you forward?
I'll go first, actually, because you led me right into it. The future is what fuels me 100%. I always think about generations, right, and how far, my family has come, and now I'm in position to push our family further. And so for me, I think about what that's going to look like and how I need to act now to make sure that we can, act a certain way later. And live a certain way later. So that's been the driving force for me, just thinking about what I want my future to look like and taking the necessary steps to get there.
Excellent. How about you, Collin?
Well, I think a lot of us always are excited about the future, right? But sometimes, our past kind of get in the way of our future.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's definitely some skill sets that I think are important in being forgiving to yourself, acknowledging the power of family. So, being in a relationship with mom, dad, brother, and sister, focusing on your health. When I feel good, I'm productive. When things are in harmony with my family, like, anything's possible. So I think that it's easy to get excited about the future. And I love that Miles is creating that for himself and his family, the next generation. But also good for us to realize, like, a lot of us have stuff in our past that's important to acknowledge and complete as we think about soaring into the sky.
Wow. Powerful, guys. In that same vein, gratitude. Do you guys regularly practice gratitude? And I think I know the answer to the question, but I definitely wanted you guys to speak on it. We'll kick it over to you first, Miles.
Absolutely. Every day, right? I think it's important we talk about giving flowers, right? It's important to tell people that you love them, that you appreciate them, that you're thankful of their time, their energy, their effort. When you're building others up, everyone goes, right? So I think giving flowers and giving gratitude is very important. We have to make sure we do it every day.
Well, you're doing it right now for us, right? I mean, we're on your podcast, your show. You're putting us on a stand, a pedestal to give us a voice, right? So that's a way that you're showing us gratitude. So we acknowledge that. We love it. We accept it. We're excited about this project. And it doesn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
So I think being in recognition of opportunities that people give you is important. Like, it's a great way to show gratitude, right? We have a lot of gifts in life, but they come to us like, that's just the way things are. This is an incredible opportunity. The three of us are on ComAv, in Back Bay, talking about life, real estate, and, the power of connectivity and relationships. Like, that's awesome. That's juicy. I love that. And that's not the norm.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. It's not.
So we thank you for the opportunity, and we mean it.
No, honestly, and I appreciate you guys both for coming on. The next question is as we wrap up here, we'll start with you, Miles. What advice would you give to your younger self? And it could be anything, right? Relative to your journey thus far that you think would have made the journey a little bit easier, or at least help you reframe the way you thought about some of the obstacles you might have faced. And this is really to help folks who might be struggling, just overcoming whether it's self-doubt, fear, or whatever obstacles are on their journey right now.
It's a great question. The mind goes so many places. Ultimately, it's a little bit of a basic answer, right? But I would say get out of your comfort zone. When you first get into the business, when you first start anything really, there's things that you don't want to do, right? And you may think, I'm too cool for this, and some other folks may think, we're too cool for this, but doing the things that you don't want to do are the main reason you'll be successful. So I would say that get out of your comfort zone and do the hard things.
Couldn't agree more. Yep, that's a great answer. How about you, Collin?
Advice?
Advice is,
No, I don't give advice. You remember that?
I should have learned from the first time.
Yeah, you know, share how you overcome
Any resistance you face, right?
basic resistance in Nori. I resistance every single day.
Waking up is your basic resistance.
I know how to live. Oh, geez, what it's so nice to sleep in these days. Yeah, no advice. Like, you know, own who you are. You know,
you shared that.
Everyone has a unique story.
Yep.
You know, kind of the only way out is through. Like, if you want to go to the next level, like, you know, just go.
Yep, and deal with it, right? Be uncomfortable through that journey, right? Because it is going to get uncomfortable. I was sharing that with my team recently this week. You know, as we're all trying to grow and get to new heights and new goals and new milestones, it gets weird sometimes. Like, you feel like, whoa, hold on, wait a minute, right? So you're going on a airplane for the first time, you're going too high, like, oh, is this thing gonna stay up here? You know, but you gotta have that faith to keep pushing. And you guys have both shared that. You guys are both great examples of that. And as we wrap up, anything else you guys want to share with the folks watching out there about the project, or any last words you guys want to give folks as we close out this podcast?
I want to ask you, like, what do you think of the place?
I saw
That project.
I saw the before and after. I love it. Honestly, I love the natural light, the openness, the high ceilings. I love what you did with the kitchen. You took this from, I was telling Miles, like the late 90s to 2024, right? And so, you know, you did everything you could within the space to allow buyers to create a home for themselves or really enjoy an environment in the city, right across from the Quinn House and here at, you know, Back Bay, center of Back Bay here. And I really enjoy everything the city has to offer. And they even have private outdoor space. So, yeah, you know, couldn't have done a better job.
Sold. Gold Star Award. Crushed it. Yes. All those things.
Yeah, so hey, if you need a condo in Back Bay, guys, hit up Miles. Collin obviously did a phenomenal job. Miles is your guy to help you get it sold and navigate the process. And no, I really appreciate you guys. How can folks connect with you both?
Miles, any last words? I don't know if I gave you your opportunity.
Yeah.
Photos out.
No, you did great. You know, obviously, Rob, thank you so much for having us on and highlighting 220 ComF, right? It's a blessing to be here. We're very grateful. Where can they connect with us? You know, everywhere, right? LinkedIn, Miles Wright on LinkedIn, Miles M. Wright _, on Instagram.
They will miss your smile. Man. Yep, and we'll link to you guys' profiles in the video as well.
And then, you know, I C21cityside.com. That's our company website. Yep, you can find everything about us on there.
Yep, this listing and once this is sold, there's even more.
Absolutely.
Yep,
That's right. Drum roll, please.
yes, that's it. How about you, Collin?
Nope. No. Oh, last words? How to connect with me?
Yes, how to connect with you, man.
Come by and ring the buzzer at 240 comment on Instagram, any of those social platforms. I look forward to meeting someone new. And thank you for coming in to, I'd say, my home or my clip.
There you go.
And getting a little inside scoop and an inside look.
Excellent, guys. Really appreciate you guys coming on. This was awesome. And looking forward to doing it again soon, guys. Second time for you, Collin. And not the last time for you, Miles. Yep. Excellent. That's a wrap.